Welcome to this live video training on exploring the power of your subconscious mind through advanced tapping techniques. My name is Arttemis.
And I'm Crystal.
And Crystal will be helping me moderate this live video training today. We will be posting a link below this video. You can click on that link, and if you're familiar with Google Hangout, come on inside, mute yourself, and I can engage with you as a student of this material and answer your questions. So, today's live video training is on advanced tapping techniques and how to transform limiting emotions, thoughts, attitudes, belief systems into their positive expression and really transform your life by helping transform what you feel both consciously and subconsciously. Now, for all of you watching today or from the Shine event, welcome. This is a continuation of my talk I did from stage on eliminating subconscious blocks that are holding back your healing. One of the things to remember about healing the physical body is that every physical symptom or disease is initiated and reflected in our emotional body. And so all healing does not occur until we begin to address the emotions or the suppressed emotions in the body through techniques like tapping, or what's also known as emotional freedom technique. So this is really powerful information for you to heal your emotions and transform your negative emotions. This information I'm sharing with you today is also very powerful to empower your clients to remove their limiting emotions, attitudes, and belief systems. And so I'm going to go into why tapping. I'm going to talk about the meridian system and how it's connected to the body of light and feeling, and thought, word, and feeling in our body. I'm also going to share with you a tapping session. So we're going to do some tapping on frustration and transform frustration into patience and cultivate patience in the body. We're going to go through the 5 keys of tapping. So there are 5 key steps, or what I call the 5 keys of a successful tapping sequence, where you're going to learn key 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this is the order in which you would do a successful and highly effective tapping session. At the end, I'm going to be inviting you to a 2-part webinar series where in part 1 I'm going to be teaching you instantaneous healing with tapping. Part 2 is removing deep genetic patterns and upgrading family patterns and belief systems through tapping. So stay tuned for that at the end of this live video training today. So welcome everybody. My name is Arttemis. I've been tapping for over 15 years. I got back into it about 2-3 years ago after listening to some audio trainings from one of my mentors, and he really reinforced the importance of tapping techniques to remove limiting beliefs. And so I started tapping on everything. I literally tried on everything and started seeing such powerful results in my personal life. I started healing deep fear patterns. I started doubling and tripling my income. My personal financial flow and financial abundance increased dramatically. And then I started to integrate tapping in my coaching practice, working with clients who had traumas and chronic diseases and symptoms and long-standing health challenges, and I began to see the miracles of tapping techniques or emotional freedom technique really help people. Over the past 10 years, I've served over 10,000 people. I've worked at 3 clinics. One of them was the Tree of Life Rejuvenation Center with Dr. Gabriel Cousens for 2 years. And so I've seen a lot. I've helped empower a lot of healing on our planet. And what I'm teaching you today is really one of the easiest and most effective tools you can use to heal yourself and empower your clients to heal. Now, what I bring to the whole tapping world is the application of conscious language, aromatherapy, imagination, and all of these technologies from conscious language that really take tapping to a whole new level. And we're going to be experiencing that today. So why tapping? I'm going to bring up a little chart here of our meridians. So our body, we've known for over 5,000 years in ancient Chinese medicine that our body has meridians that flow from the head to the feet and from the feet to the head. And what's neat about our meridians is that they connect the chakras with the organs. And so our meridians are literally rivers of light, thought, word, and feeling. And as we're tapping on the body, we're actually directly stimulating our meridian pathways, as you can see here in this chart. As you can see in this chart, When we're tapping the meridians, it is a kinesthetic and bioenergetic stimulation of your meridians and your emotional body, because your thoughts and emotions flow up these meridian channels. And let's say you have fear or sadness and you have a pattern repeated upon itself. A thought and emotion repeated upon itself becomes a belief. So let's say it's a chronic fear or chronic grief. Fear is expressed out through immune system problems and also problems with kidney, liver. Grief is a pancreatic or adrenal problem, and so suppressed grief can express itself out through blood sugar imbalances, weight problems, problems with metabolism. And so if you have these patterns that are chronic and suppressed, you can tap on your meridians with the right conscious languaging and words. And as you tap on your meridian points, it's clearing some of the blocks in these channels. Consider your meridians like strings on a harp, and your body is designed to function in perfect harmony through thought, word, and feeling. When you have emotional blocks, it creates a discord in one of those strings, and as we tap, it's like plucking strings on a harp and retuning your mental and emotional body with your physical body. It's so cool. And that's one of the best analogies I've discovered about tapping, is you're literally retuning your divine instrument through thought, word, feeling, and acupressure, touching these meridian points on the body. And the reason we use tapping in our daily lives and in our service with others is because it helps transform long-standing negative emotional patterns into their positive emotional expression. I'm going to say that again. Tapping transforms long-standing negative emotional patterns and belief systems into their positive emotional expression. Now we have a comment here from Virginia Parsons. She says, I love EFT, have used it for years in my work. Looking forward to seeing your approach to it, Arttemis. Okay, thank you, Virginia. I really appreciate your comment. And yes, EFT is powerful. What you're going to learn today is EFT with conscious language and outcome facilitation and some imagination, and really integrating the highest form of communication or languaging with emotional freedom techniques. So tapping helps transform negative emotional patterns, limiting beliefs, into their positive emotional expression. And so you can heal something in the moment, and the effects can be instantaneous. Now, tapping also can address the cause, core, record, and effect of thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. What do I mean by that? The cause is how the emotion is creating a symptom in the body. The core is the genetic pattern that emotion or memory may be stored and connected to. Cause, core, the record is the memories, the first time, the original event in your life you experienced that emotion, it became stored in the body. And the effect is how that symptom, emotion, and genetic pattern is expressing out into your body and into your relationships in life. So with repeated tapping sessions, remember, repetition is the mother of perfection. And so I don't recommend you just tap on fear and anger once. Use what I'm teaching you today repeatedly. Repetition is the mother of perfection. And you can achieve perfect healing and your perfected state of healing through repeating your tapping sessions. Using tapping techniques on yourself repeatedly will begin to go deeper and deeper into the cause, the record, the memories, and the effects in your life. And what it can do is it can change reactive patterns. Let's say you've been reacting from fear, and fear has been paralyzing you to not move forward in your business or in your relationships or in your life. And you keep tapping away that fear, the memory of that fear, the record of that fear, even transforming the genetic expression of fear. And then you move from reactive patterns to responsive patterns, where you now begin to respond in faith, certainty, courage, self-confidence, will, authority. And this is the conscious languaging of fear into faith, and fear into certainty and self-assuredness and self-confidence. It's like this is what's returning when you're tapping on fear, and you can create this in every tapping session you do. So here is all the meridians. right there. Woo. And I'm going to pull up the tapping chart, and this is a really just simple, elegant chart of all the major EFT points. Now there are thousands of acupressure points on the body. When Gary Craig distilled emotional freedom technique down into what I'm sharing with you today, we cover the major points in the body, and it kind of covers all the bases. Now, emotional freedom technique was originally called the Callahan method and thought field therapy. So Dr. Roger Callahan created thought field therapy, and he had all these different algorithms or different ways to tap different points. That was very complicated. Gary Craig simplified it into one fluid sequence, which is what we're going to be using today because it's the easiest to duplicate. And so we're learning the primary EFT points with conscious languaging, with imagination, with deep feeling in your body, deep connection to your body and what you're feeling in the body as we tap. And so we're going to do some tapping in just a sec. We're going to tap on frustration. And before we do that, I want to mention that there's one point not on this chart, and it's called the karate chop point. And so this is the point we tap on first. And as you start to tap this point, everyone just start tapping here right now. This point, the karate chop point, as soon as you start tapping on it, just bring it down to waist level and tap here. Now, it doesn't matter which one you tap, left hand or right hand. You may even find yourself alternating and going to different sides because that's integrating different left hemisphere or right hemisphere of the body. So it's good to actually do both points. And it's also good to use both hands when tapping because you can even do this, you can do this. It's good to integrate both hands while tapping because that's more left and right brain integration with tapping. And so this is another aspect of my tapping that I do that not a lot of other people teach. It makes sense neurologically to use both hands and to alternate now and then because you're integrating left and right hemisphere of the body. And so we're going to do a tapping session right now before I go into the 5 keys of tapping and the 5 steps to a successful tapping session. What we're going to tap on right now is frustration. And so there are emotions we experience in life that are natural emotional states. And I want everyone to take a deep breath right now. Just take a deep breath in. Exhale fully. Just start breathing a little deeper while I explain to you frustration, what frustration is in the body, what organs it affects, and how it can express out into your body and into your life. So frustration is a type of anger. Anger is the primary emotion. Frustration, aggression, and irrationality or irrational thinking and behavior are all expressions of anger. And anger affects the liver. So liver is yin, gallbladder is yang. And so anger is a yin emotion, and anger and frustration suppress into the liver. Frustration is usually with others. We experience frustration with people, places, conditions, and things in our life. It's rarely ever about ourselves. It's how we're projecting out into the world, frustrated with some person or thing some person and what they are doing or not doing in our life, or something that is happening or not happening in our life. And so it's important to understand what's the cause and core of frustration and how does it suppress into the body? Well, it usually affects the liver, and they can be expressed out through liver issues like inflammation, psoriasis, eczema, issues with the joints, the tendons. We can store frustration in our tendons and in our muscles. And so tapping away frustration, tapping away the cause, the core, the record, and the memory, and the effect of frustration can have powerful healing benefits to your liver. And frustration, when tapped with love, becomes patience. And so I'm inviting you to do a tapping session with me right now. If this is the first time you've ever tapped, just start right here on the karate chop point and follow me and follow as I tap with me. And as I'm tapping, repeat what I'm saying. And so I'm going to start saying a word pattern and a sequence of words while I'm tapping. You tap and repeat the words after me every time I say them. And so the normal word pattern when we begin tapping, and just continue tapping right here. Normal word pattern is, even though I feel frustrated, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now, I'm going to be using a lot more words after that, but we'll start there because that's kind of the basic landing pad or runway to take off into a good tapping session. So repeat after me. Even though I feel frustrated, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And now say with me, I feel frustrated.
I feel frustrated.
I feel frustrated.
I feel frustrated.
It's okay, I feel frustrated.
It's okay, I feel frustrated.
Tap right here on top of the head, both hands. It's okay, I feel frustrated.
Okay, I feel frustrated.
I can love the frustration
I can love this
and let it
frustration
go.
and let it go.
Tap on top of the eyes right here. Even though I feel frustrated,
Even though I feel frustrated,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Side of the eyes, I can love all of this frustration
I can
and
love
let it go.
this frustration and let it go.
Under the eyes, it's safe to let the frustration go now.
It's safe to let the frustration go.
Under the nose, I can love all of this frustration and let it go.
I can love all this frustration.
On the chin, all of this frustration in my mind and body,
All this frustration, mind and body.
I let it go.
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 Even though I feel this frustration,
Even though I feel this frustration,
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I can love all of this and let it go now.
I can love all this and let it go.
Under the armpit right here, I love all this frustration and I let it go.
I love all this frustration and I let it go.
And tap right here and just take a few deep breaths. Now come back to the karate chop point right here. And now we're going to take frustration and we're going to tap in what frustration turns into, which is patience and acceptance. And really getting in flow again with patience. So repeat after me. I choose to transform the frustration.
I choose to transform the frustration.
This frustration in my body.
This frustration in my body.
This frustration in my mind and body.
This frustration in my mind and body.
Into my patience.
Into my patience.
I have patience.
I have patience.
With me.
With me.
I have patience with others.
I have patience with others.
I am patient with myself.
I am patient with myself.
I am patient with me.
I am patient with me.
Under the eyes, I am patient with others.
I am patient with others.
I am patient with my world.
I am patient with my world.
I am patient.
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 I am patient, kind, and loving with myself.
I am patient, kind, and loving with myself.
I am patient, kind, and loving with others.
I love being patient, kind, and loving with others.
I am patient, kind, and loving with me.
I am patient, kind, and loving with me.
Take a few deep breaths. Under the arm, I am patient, kind, and loving with others.
I am patient, kind, and loving with others.
Tap on top of the head. Take a few deep breaths and repeat after me. It is done.
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 And so be it.
So be it.
And so it
And
is.
so it is.
Good. Rub your hands together. And so that is a very simple way to tap away patience and to tap away frustration, excuse me. I was so patient I couldn't even think of the word frustration. So that's a way to tap away frustration and then transform frustration into patience. And if you're brand new to tapping, just watch this video again. Go through the tapping points, through the word patterns. Repetition is the mother of perfection. We have a chart right here on the video to look at. Right here you can see all the tapping points. And every limiting emotional expression has a strength returning. And what one of my teachers from Conscious Language, Robert Tennyson Stevens, what he taught me is that our greatest weakness shall be our greatest strength. What's missing in a lot of tapping techniques is the question, what does this turn into? Specifically, with specificity, And how can I make that manifest in my thoughts, words, and feelings? Fear becomes faith. Anger becomes forgiveness. Frustration becomes patience. Irritation becomes tolerance. Shame becomes self-acceptance and a deep, profound love of you just the way you are and all the ways that you are. And so this is the value of tapping and naming what's negative and then transforming it into your greatest strength. And tapping is a way to kind of take home or drive home deeper patience and kindness and love into your physical and emotional body, even into your DNA and your genetic expression. There's some research done by Dr. Dawson Church from EFT Universe where he found that tapping techniques lower cortisol levels up to 24% in the body. And so he was doing a triple-blind study where he had people going through a sequence of tapping techniques, and then you had another group of people going through just talk therapy. The cortisol levels lowered 10% in talk therapy, cortisol over 24% in people doing tapping. That's more than a twofold decrease of cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone we release in times of stress and fight or flight. High sustained cortisol causes inflammation, and high sustained cortisol over time depletes our adrenals. And so when he found that cortisol was being lowered through tapping techniques, and this was a triple-blind study, the people who were doing the tapping and the people receiving the tapping did not know they were being tested for cortisol. They just were experiencing tapping. And so the proof was 24% lower levels of cortisol at the end of every tapping session. And what the researchers began to ask is what's happening genetically with their expression of cortisol at the medulla and the adrenal levels. What's going on in the brain and the kidney and the adrenal and the HPA axis that's causing the cortisol to lower, and causing the cortisol to lower? What they discovered is that tapping is changing the genetic expression of cortisol with repeated use. Now this is profound because you don't just tap once, you tap often to start changing the cause, core, record, and effect. And eventually you rewire your nervous system, which is rewiring your meridians, rewiring your emotional expression, where instead of reacting with frustration, you're now responding with more patience. It doesn't mean you're never going to experience frustration again. It just means you can now take the emotion of anger and frustration and transform it more easily by repatterning the mind, the emotions, and the nervous system. And this is now being scientifically documented. So we're now going to go into the 5 keys of tapping. And we just experienced all 5 keys doing our live tapping sequence, transforming frustration into patience. So now I'm going to break it down. We're going to go more into the 5 keys of tapping and the 5 steps to an effective tapping session using the EFT sequence with conscious language, with even essential oils. I'm going to be bringing in some essential oils because they're very powerful tools to enhance tapping, and then with also outcome. What does this turn into? And so when we're talking about key 1 or step 1, the first thing you always do when beginning an effective tapping session is starting on the karate chop point, right here.
Okay.
And if you want to bring an essential oil into the tapping sequence, before you begin using karate chop, for anger you can use lavender or release. And you can apply these oils to the tapping points on the body. You can apply the oils here on all these meridians. And because the essential oils have a high electrical frequency, they're actually tuning up your divine instrument and getting you ready for deeper emotional healing and transformation. So for anger and frustration, you can try lavender, you can try release. There's another blend called Stress Away that's really good for calming the fight or flight response and getting you deeper into your tapping sequence. So if you want to upgrade your tapping session, use an essential oil before a session, or if you're working with a client, take the oil and just start anointing your client, and just, with permission, just start rubbing the oil on their tapping points, and then the aroma and the frequency starts to enhance the session.
We'll tell them where to apply it.
And the best place to apply the oils are on the tapping points.
You can tell your clients where to.
Right here. The best place is right here on these tapping points along the meridians of the body. Now, you can also use essential oils for sustained emotional transformation by telling your clients working with the oils on a daily basis deepens subconscious awareness and deepens emotional and limbic brain transformation. I have other video trainings on that you can watch later. So, tapping number one, the keys to tapping number one is start on the karate chop point with or without essential oils. The second principle is you must name it before you can change it. Now this is really, really important because a lot of us try to steamroll our emotions and we don't want to talk about it. We have patterns in us of I don't want to feel, I can't feel my feelings, it's hard to feel, I don't know how to put what I feel into words. And that's the greatest gift of tapping, is to help you name it while you're starting on the karate chop point. Even though I feel frustrated, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I feel frustrated about what specifically? So taking it a step further, when you're working with frustration or fear or sadness, about what specifically? I feel frustrated with my wife. I feel frustrated with my job. About what specifically in your job? Specificity brings feeling. And so as you're tapping karate chop point, start using the words, I feel frustrated about this, this, and this. And even though I feel frustrated, I love and accept myself. And you start to move through the tapping points using these word patterns with specificity. So tapping key number one is to start the karate chop point, name what is negative, name what's acting so that you can change it. What that does with your emotional body is naming it also is the first step to letting it be okay. Self-acceptance is the master key. Key number two is letting what you feel be okay. So many times when we're reacting to life, we resist. And there's this saying, what you resist persists. What you suppress into the subconscious mind gets expressed out into your body and into your life. So self-acceptance is the master key. Being able to say, it's okay. It's okay I feel frustration. As you're tapping on the points, it's okay I feel fear. It's okay I feel sadness. Even though I feel sad, I love and accept myself. What you're doing is you're reconnecting the conscious and subconscious mind, and you're expressing that emotion through self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is the master key because once you can accept all that you feel, once you can accept the cause, core, record, and effect, you can change it forever. You can illumine your emotional body. You can illumine your mind. You can start transforming through self-acceptance into faith and patience and trust and assuredness. And so one of the secret tips to an effective tapping session is to tell yourself, it's okay. I'm okay. I am okay. And you don't have to say it right. You don't have to say I am okay or I'm okay or it's okay. Find the words that create the deepest feeling for you. So key number two is to embrace self-acceptance as soon as you start speaking through the feeling, is to accept it just the way it is. Virginia says, I love the idea of using essential oils with tapping. I'm using Elevation right now and feeling wonderful. Thank you, Virginia. Your comments are awesome. Virginia and I have been using essential oils for years and years. We know their healing powers. And using essential oils such as lavender or release during a tapping session can powerfully accelerate emotional healing and transformation. So just consider it an upgrade or an enhancement to every successful tapping session.
I want people to put comments.
So if you're watching this right now, please comment below, ask me questions.
On YouTube, it's to the right.
And on YouTube, it's to the right. So if you're watching on YouTube, just place comments along the comment tracker. Crystal is monitoring them and will bring them up if you have questions. Also, if you're watching this video in the future, there's going to be links below for more information on how to contact me and our information. So, key number two, self-acceptance. This is the open door from which all emotional healing flows with ease. It's just being able to say, I'm okay. Finding harmony with what you feel, and through tapping, you can express it more, and you can move it from interior to exterior out your body. Key number 3, continue to name and feel your feelings, moving through the primary EFT points. And so as you're tapping on frustration or fear, you want to keep naming it and just letting it be okay, and naming it, letting it be okay, and naming it. And what will happen is you may start feeling tension in certain of these points. We hold emotional tension in different parts of our body. And as we're going through the entire EFT sequence, as you saw here in this chart, as we go through this sequence, it's actually helping remove some of these blocks that we may be experiencing. And the blocks can be in several different places in the body. So going through the whole EFT sequence covers most of the bases. So you might be storing something down here that you need to tap on and clear down here. And there are other tapping points I'll go on in our 2-part webinar series too, where we'll talk about more advanced tapping techniques. And so just going through the EFT sequence and covering all the bases while you're naming it, letting it be okay, loving it, I let it go. Loving it, I let it go. I let the fear go. The fear of what specifically? I let it go. I let it go. I'm okay. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. All of these words are like a healing balm to your emotional body. And what we're doing is we're just aligning the subconscious and the conscious mind to choose what's returning, and to have deep healing in our meridians, to have deep healing in our emotions, and to have deep healing in our physical body, even our genetic expression.
Here's a comment.
Now there's a special tip here on key number 3, is when you're using tapping and you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling like, man, this is hard, I don't want to touch this level of anger or hate, or this is a fear I've been dealing with for 20 years. Some very powerful words you can use at the beginning, middle, or end, or all of the above. Use these words. I can feel my feelings. I can love what I feel. Now, these words are a lifesaver for your emotional body, and they're very powerful for deeply held traumas. And so a lot of what people experience as chronic disease or illness is connected to traumas early in life. And so just being able to feel your feelings and love what you feel, and just keep telling your emotional body, it's okay, I can feel my feelings, I can love what I feel. That can help with deeper traumas, deeper places in the body that have lots of suppressed negative energy, and it's been kind of building upon itself like this big negative ball of energy. And you may need to say this affirmation every tapping sequence just to get to the point where you can start feeling again. A lot of people are just numb, and people who have trauma and extreme fight or flight, tapping is tough for them at first because of trauma. So repeat after me. I can feel my feelings.
I can feel my feelings.
I can love what I feel.
I can love what I feel.
These are powerful, powerful words if you feel stuck or if you're being held back. Key number 4. What does this turn into? So after you've tapped on what's negative or what's acting, is it fear, anger, sadness? Is it worry? Is it anxiety? Is it frustration, irritation? Is it resentment? I mean, whatever's going on, name it before you can change it. Go through the entire sequence once, and now ask yourself, what does this turn into? And begin to re-tap the positive and affirm what's returning. And this is where some of our advanced training will illuminate more for you. But for right now, I just want to cover some of the basics. Sadness becomes joy and happiness. Grief into joy. Sadness into happiness. Anger becomes forgiveness, compassion. Irritation into patience. Irritation into tolerance. Frustration into patience. Aggression into being more fluid and flexible in your life. And so anger is a very common emotion. And when we begin to forgive and become more compassionate and patient, it's helpful to reinforce that with more tapping. Fear transforms into faith. Repeat after me. I have faith.
I have faith.
I have faith in me.
I have faith in me.
I believe in me.
I believe in me.
I am confident.
I am confident.
I have faith.
I have faith.
So as you're removing the fear, replace it with what you choose to have, what's returning, which is, I have faith. I have faith in me. I am confident. I believe in me. God believes in me. Use your words consciously and constructively, and make sure it's specific and outcome oriented. Make sure it's first person, I, specific, have faith, outcome oriented in my job, in my business. I have faith in me to do what specifically. So there's so much available in conscious language where you can really begin to reverse, rename, and renounce the pattern, and know that your fear is faith returning. You can transform fear emotionally, and you can choose and claim your faith, and then anchor that faith in through the step 4, or key number 4. Doubt is a subtle form of fear that transforms into self-confident and confident and repeated action. So doubt transforms into self-confidence, which is built upon faith and action. And so you can see how powerful these 5 keys are as you're tapping with yourself and with others. Very, very, very powerful to start identifying your own emotions, naming it, changing it, and then upgrading it using conscious language. One of the ways you enhance tapping is by using the highest form of languaging, such as conscious language. There's a lot of people tapping out there, and the word patterns are not specific enough, nor do they engage enough of our spirit, our I am that I am. And with conscious language in tapping, you can fully engage more of your emotional body, your physical body, and your spiritual body to really transform in real time fear into faith, your sadness into happiness, your anger into forgiveness, forgiving who, what specifically. I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. Tap, 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 tap. And then move through the complete pattern of forgiveness back into a sense of deep presence. And so the key number 5 is to tap the full EFT sequence again after you've named it. What does this turn into? Tap it again. And this time the pattern is upgraded and transformed in the body. And so all of this I've just shared with you, key number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, has been a personal journey of my discovery of how I heal myself, of how I transform my limiting emotions, and how I've seen major, major traumas healed in the body. Now, there are tools you can use to enhance tapping. And the most powerful tool you have available is your head, your hands, and your breath. So engage conscious breath. Conscious breath empowers and anchors positive emotional change. So while you're going through the tapping points, pause and breathe. Use conscious breath. Use essential oils like frankincense, like lavender, like peace and calming. Use essential oils that are going to help you stimulate your meridians, energize your limbic brain, and help through deep aromatherapy transform emotions more effectively. Now, using essential oils during tapping has a threefold effect. 1, essential oils are going to enhance your breath. And as you breathe them in, it's going to help calm the amygdala and also create a deeper healing and cascade of healing throughout the emotional body. 2, essential oils have electrical frequency. And so as you're using the essential oils, the electrical frequency is actually stimulating the meridians, and it's helping remove blockages instantaneously as you apply them. And 3, essential oils penetrate at a cellular level, and so they don't require digestion. And so it's a very powerful energetic tool when you're tapping to incorporate essential oils, because they go right into the cells. And we know through the chemistry of essential oils, through the work of Dr. David Stewart, that these essential oils can change genetic patterns in the body. Essential oils like frankincense, sandalwood, myrrh, vetiver, valerian, blends like peace and calming, blends like valor, that have a broad spectrum of oils, they can go into our cells and repattern our genetic expression. And when you apply tapping with that, you can create instantaneous healing in the body. It's very, very powerful. For those of you who are watching this video now who opted in, the next email we send you will give you the chart that I gave out at the Shine conference on the 7 emotional patterns and what essential oils to use when tapping away your emotions. Is there something else to share?
You just answered it.
Okay, good. So yes, in the follow-up email after this video day, you're going to receive a chart on emotional alchemy with Young Living essential oils and some further training on that. Anything else?
No, I just have to add that to the email.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you watching this material today. This is the first time I've ever shared this material at this level, at this depth in the world. And I feel called to share this because a lot of you who are watching from the Shine Conference, you can take this material and apply it for yourself and in your service to others. There is some movies you can watch and books. One of them is The Tapping Solution. And so this is a really good, like, level 1. It's also something good to refer out to your clients, this movie, because it's a very powerful introduction to tapping and increasing the belief level of tapping for you and your clients to use it. Number 2, you can attend our live webinar series. It's a 2-part advanced tapping webinar. And in this 2-part series, I'm going to be going deeper into emotional patterns. We're going to do a lot more tapping. And we're going to tap away anger into forgiveness and authority. We're going to tap away sadness into happiness and joy. We're going to tap away fear into faith and self-confidence. So we're going to go through these specific emotional patterns and tapping what they turn into and giving you some more conscious languaging and how you can use these powerful tools with the highest form of language. Part 2 is about reversing genetic patterns with tapping. Now this is very, very powerful information. Because of my training and my background in raw foods and detoxification and conscious languaging, in EFT and meridian tapping, and also iridology and biooptic holography, I have a very broad scope of training and a very unique understanding of how we take genetic patterns from mom and dad and upgrade them into our life. And so in part 2, we're going to be talking about genetic patterns, patterns of self-sabotage. And if you've been sabotaging yourself over and over and you're like, man, I'm working on this, I'm not getting anywhere with it, there are specific tapping techniques, conscious languaging patterns. What does this turn into, and ways to begin to transform your genetic patterns? And I'll give you a secret. It's loving and accepting mom and dad just the way they are, and being able to receive the full gift of your lineage and transform it through tapping. Very, very powerful, very revolutionary stuff. So part 2 is taking part 1 further into reversing genetic patterns with tapping
And self-sabotage.
and transforming self-sabotage into right action and continuous right action. So this training is $37. And so if you're watching this video right now, Crystal's posting a link under the video. That's bit.ly/advanced tap, and that is case sensitive, capital A, capital T, advanced tap. So go to bit.ly/advanced tap to participate in this training. It will be live in Google Hangout. You will be able to come inside the Hangout and ask questions and engage with me and receive direct facilitation from me. And so if you have a specific pattern you use healing or a genetic pattern you're struggling with, we will do some work live in real time in this 2-part series. So I invite you to go to bit.ly/advanced tap. Join me in this 2-part series, and we're going to dive deep into more tapping techniques with more conscious languaging and better healing and more powerful healing for you and those you serve. And so my name is Arttemis Kassane. Very happy, very excited to share this material today. This stuff is life-changing. Remember, 70 to 80% of your energy to make positive change and sustained positive change comes from your feelings, comes from the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind rules your life. And if you have things you don't like in your life, learn tapping, learn conscious language, start removing these energetic blocks, get into alignment with your subconscious mind, and start moving forward with more faith, trust, compassion, patience, kindness, forgiveness, authority. Start removing these blocks and claiming what is yours, and tapping is a tool that makes all of that easier. Are there any questions?
No questions. It looks good.
Awesome. Thank you for watching this webinar today. My name is Arttemis Gassane. You can visit the link below this video to join the webinar. And if you're watching this video and the webinar has already happened, then there will be another link to contact us for more information. I will see you next time, October 28th at 5:30 Central Standard Time for Part 1, and I'll see you November 4th at 5:30 Central Standard Time for Part 2. See you next time.